In this video we're going to cover a Bluetooth camera slider that I built following an Adafruit tutorial, and then some changes I made to the file to improve the design of it. Let's start with a video just showing it working. So I have the model loaded here in Fusion 360, and we're going to be adjusting the holes here to turn them into slots so you can adjust the tension of the belt. And we're also going to change the mount here for the bearing. Right now the diameter is at 8 millimeters, which is the same diameter of the hole for the bearing. So if we don't have our printer printing out perfectly, it's really hard to get that bearing on. So we're going to shrink it down a little bit to make it easier. So the first thing we want to do is extend the edges here, since we're going to make the holes longer. So we'll extrude. And 10 millimeters is a good distance. So now it's a little longer. We're going to create a new sketch on here for the holes. Zoom in a little better here. Alright. So we want to project the previous holes. So we have a center point spot to start at. Alright. Now we're going to just create a line here so we keep them straight across, not shifting down or anything. So 13 millimeters is a good distance. We'll do that again. 13. So we'll make these construction lines. Right. Now we want to create the slot. So we'll go center to center slot. So from the center of this hole to where the center of the other hole would be. And the distance is, or diameter is 4.5 millimeters. Right. Now we'll make another one. And 5. Alright, so that's done. We'll stop the sketch. Oops. We'll extrude these holes now. This view is kind of hard to figure out. There, that's better. And then the distance will be, we want it through the whole piece, so we're going to have a distance of 2. We're going to select the bottom. See, it cuts right through. Now you want to add the chamfer. Select our parts. Then we want a value of 2. Alright, so that's done. Now let's work on the bearing mount here. Get a new sketch. We want a 7.8 millimeters. I found it was good. 0.8. Right. Stop the sketch. Now we want to extrude that little gap in between the 7.8 and the 8 millimeter. So now the peg should be 7.8 millimeters, and we'll measure that to make sure. Yep, 7.8. So now we have our changes to the bearing holder that we wanted. Now we're gonna save this bearing mount so we can print it. So save as STL. We'll call it bearing mount. Now we'll look at it in Simplify 3D, see how it looks. I need to rotate it, -90. And I need to bring it back up. So it looks good. See how it would print. So there it is. That's how it would print. Looks like it's good. So now we'll just print that out and attach it. Alright. So if we look at the camera platform here, we can see the holes aren't perfectly lined up to the slider platform, or the slide rail platform and the camera platform. So we're going to adjust the holes on the camera platform since that's the printed part. So we have our slide rail platform opened up here. We're just going to measure the distance of the holes to see what it's supposed to be. So it looks like it should be 30 millimeters. So looking at the camera platform when we measure, we have 31.056. So we need to bring them in closer. So I'll open up my calculator here. So 1.056. So each side needs to come in 0.528. So we'll edit this sketch. So we want this one here. So it's saying right now it's 6.772 millimeters from the side, but we need to add a little bit to that. So you can just use math functions on here and go plus 0.528. So now it's 7.3 millimeters from the edge. So we need to let it know for these parts down here too. So sketch 7.3. So you see it moves the one hole and not the other. We'll just select that one also. There might be a better way to do it, but this works pretty quick. We'll do all these holes. 3. 7.3. Let's just check this one. I think this one was mirrored with this one. Yep, 7.3. So that one's good. So now we have that part done. Now let's see how far the holes here are from each other. So 38 millimeters. Let's see on our, stop the sketch here. So here. So see, we have 38.256, so we need to move in just a tiny bit there. So 0.256, divide that by 2. So we need to bring them down 0.128. So let's go back to that sketch. And this one here, so we'll add 0.128. So that makes it 6.9. Oops. Okay, so that one's already at 6.9. Oops. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit to get that tiny dot. Alright. Whoops. Let's do this again. Right, so 6.9. Let's go over here. I still need to master this zooming in and out. 6.9. Now we need to fix that other dot. 0.9. Alright, so now our holes are lined up right, so I'll stop sketch. Yeah, let's go to the bottom here. So let's just measure these and see. So these should be 38. Alright. And these should be 30. So that looks good. So we'll save this. Now when we go over to our camera slider, it's going to let us know, hey, something changed. So camera platform, let's update to the newest version. This way we can look also at our full assembly to make sure there wasn't any problems. You get some warnings, but it worked good. So now we see the holes are lined up better. So we can go here to our camera platform, the body, and let's save it. Alright. Camera platform. So let's see how it looks in Simplify 3D. Right, so it loads it in at an angle again. So this one's 90. Prepare. I have support turned on at the moment, so let's. So it looks like it prints good. So there you go. It's pretty simple in Fusion 360 to edit designs as long as you have the Fusion 360 file. And if you do screw up the file, you can always just delete it and reopen the file you were given. So there you go. That's my changes to the camera slider. Makes it easier to screw together. I can use my M5 by 14 socket screws now in these portions. And now when I also put on my bearing, I don't snap the post and have to reprint again. And I can also slide it back to adjust the tension.